Sebastian Vettel has 11 races left with Ferrari, and many have speculated that the relationship between Vettel and Ferrari has soured. Vettel, however, is optimistic and wants to give back to the team whatever he can before he parts ways with them. Vettel has now explained the why and the how. I'm your host, Dillon Shelley, and first up on Formula World, Vettel would rather see the opportunity than the struggles. Vettel began by laying bare his mindset. There's always two ways to look at it. You can get frustrated by it, or you tackle it and you push through, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm always optimistic. He then reflected on his and the team's poor form. I think there's always stuff that you can learn, but those things just don't go away like that. They come up like that, but they don't just go away. We have to work on it, and I'm sure we'll get through it. He's also positive about the current season. The year isn't over, so as a team we try to make progress, and individually I also try to make the best out of the situation. And it's not an easy one, but as I said, we'll be trying to make the most out of it. He then explained the why. It's only a sign of respect to give everything that I have back as well, independent of the amount of races that I have left for the team. Vettel elaborated why he isn't counting the number of races he has left with Ferrari. I don't look at the negatives or the bad things. I think first of all, I'm not counting the races. I'm going race by race and I'm trying to do my job, do the best I can looking forward. I'm always optimistic and would rather see the opportunity than the struggles, and I think that's also the right thing to do in respect of what we have achieved in the last years. He then pointed out that despite the hard times, they have also had some good times too. For sure, there were some moments that were not good and not great, and the moments that we did not enjoy, but there were equally great moments, wins, etc., so a lot of positives as well. Vettel concluded his words by outlining his plan for the time he has left with the team. Independent of what happens next year and the year after that, I'm trying to enjoy the time that I have left with the guys that I spent so much time with over the last years. Fast feed. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner thinks that there are indeed some differences between engines, and it will be interesting to see what happens after the new rule banning engine modes is introduced. He also feels that Mercedes will probably still be the fastest, but the change will narrow the gap and that they can only really say after 2 or 3 races. His driver Max Verstappen thinks they ended up producing a nice season with 17 races instead of 22. He also feels you just have to accept the fact that one team dominates and try to get the best out of the situation. That has always been the case in Formula 1, so that's nothing new. Max also added that his teammate Alex Albon is doing well, the team is satisfied with his progress, and explained that Alex doesn't have 10 years of F1 experience, so they just have to give him time. Albon meanwhile thinks that there's not one area in particular that he wants improvement, but of course just trying to drive with the car rather than fight it, that's the main feeling. He also added that it's getting there. Obviously he wants it to happen quicker and immediately, but things like that don't happen overnight. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko revealed they were really surprised that Mercedes was able to make such a big step when it came to the engine in winter. Reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton thinks that when there used to be a fight between 2 tyre suppliers, it was a duel between 2 suppliers that were constantly putting pressure on each other to get better. He, however, feels that at the moment there is no one putting pressure on Pirelli except the drivers themselves. He further elaborated they have to be careful because they don't want to argue with Pirelli and they have to be constructive and just talk. Lewis also thinks that Red Bull are getting closer and closer in the races. His teammate Valtteri Bottas expounded that if he wants to fight for the championship, it means he needs to gain points against Lewis, and even Max is ahead of him in the championship, so he needs to beat him. He also believes that the overalls are the same, and that Spain was maybe the hottest race they've had this year, or going to have this year. Racing Point's Sergio Perez reiterated that the feedback he got from in the team is that they all want to continue. And he also explained that they are all feeling that everything is working well, so they don't see the reason why they should change anything. Would having a second tyre supplier be better for F1? Head over to my community page to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.